Each and every one of us asks the question, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose for being here on Earth and inhabiting this body? The short answer is to expand, learn, and grow and evolve. However, this is an individual experience and varies from soul to soul. We all share the short answer, but the long answer is totally your own creation. Consciousness is life, and your soul has agreed to incarnate and with those you build trust with and close bonds. Your experience is multifaceted with so many intricate parts to your life experience. This can happen over and over to a degree of infinite delight or utter dismay. Only when you decide it's time for a new approach do circumstances change. The truth is, each and every one of us is on a journey to expansion, and the growth we earn is imprinted on our soul's record. Each new lifetime is an opportunity to deliver a broader richness to the soul's purpose, and the more we do it, the more we grow. Love is the most powerful energy in the universe, but it is also truth. And these two laws govern our experiences and create powerful involvement with ourselves and others. Hey, welcome everyone to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have an enlightening show for you about purpose, expanding through love and healing. And before we get started, and I broke my own rule. Look at that. Wow. I had a late start. What can I say? It happens. Hey, but
you never have too many Lauries.
Yes, I need more hands, right? Before we get started, please feel free to share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate it. The algorithms get fed, and life is good for YouTubers. Welcome, new subscribers. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Now, guys, let's welcome our illustrious panel and greet our chat room participants. Tonight we have the lovely Sophia Rasmussen over there in the upper right-hand corner. We have Theresa tmdanton in the center square, Dalibor M. Suki, lower left there, and Grandpa Brian in the lower right. First of all, I want to give kudos out to Grandpa Brian. This topic tonight was Grandpa Brian's suggestion, and I really liked it, and everyone else liked the topic, so that's why we're tackling this one tonight. And it is really different for everyone. It's not the same for all of us, and we're all experiencing it from our own perspective. But there are some intricate things in the way that the universe works that we've come to understand, Theresa and I, who we work really close together. We have a lot of past lives, and we are very similar in the vibration of the same understanding of how things work. We share some guides and things like that. So that's why we're always kind of on the same page. Let's go ahead and greet everybody in chat. Let's give it a big old hello to everyone. Hi, Scotty boy. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Mary Wins, Chloe, Miss Chloe, how are you? I hope you're doing well and things are going better for you. Mary Wins, you are so sweet. It's always good to see you. Just love you being here. Thank you so much. Let's see who else we have. I got lots of duplicates, so it takes me. Beloved Abstract, how are you, kind sir? I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's and that you had someone to spend it with. And if you didn't, I'll be your Valentine. Steve, good to see you. Let's see who else. Looking. Richard the Red, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate you coming here. Thanks. Hello.
Hey, Richard.
All right. So, Grandpa Brian, I'm going to start with you since you brought this topic to us. And I just have 3 questions to ask the panel. So I thought I'd ask you first and get your input, and then we'll move through. And there's just 3 main questions, and see what your take is, what your understanding is, what you've learned, and what what this is to you. And that is, what are your understandings of creation and how were we created? I know it's a big topic.
How were we created?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were created through sex.
6 minutes in.
You don't say. You
Okay.
don't say.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe I should be a little bit more specific. Thank you, guide.
Yeah,
That was
Oh, that's
thinking
no
of.
more
right.
specifics.
Yeah. Scotty Boy agrees with you. Yeah. Okay. Ah.
No.
Okay. More apropos here. Let's refocus ourselves. I can already feel this is going to be one of those nights. How was your soul created? How did you come about? How did Brian come into existence? What was the process or processes that created Brian 420 Richards? How were you created? What's your purpose?
I was
If you're, go ahead.
I was created by the one infinite creator. As a part of him,
Mm-hmm.
I am an expression or an extension of him.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of us is an extension of the one infinite creator.
Mm-hmm.
He created our spirits so that way we could learn and grow and expand our spirit. I mean, I'm sure that we all didn't start out with all this knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he created individual spirits so that way we can go out and experience things and grow to maybe one day get to the level to where he is at.
Gotcha. So we're a part of God. You're a piece of God, a fractal of God, here to experience yourself and then to return to the whole. Is that your statement, Brian?
Correct.
Good. I like it.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Sophia, what is your understanding of creation? How were we created? Why were we created? What was your process? What brought you here, my dear?
I feel that you can only experience so much in a pure energetic form. I feel having a nervous system and having a physical body, the limitations that come along with a physical body. And when we take our experiences back to source, when our earth walk is over, it gives not only our soul, spirit, whatever words you want to put on there, it helps us to evolve. It gives us perspective. Just like when something happens to our physical body and we're limited with what we can do but have been able to do before, it gives us perspective and it can evolve our minds and help shape our experience. And I feel that my experience on this planet, on this plane, in this body, in this time is information that source cannot get any other way than
Mm-hmm.
through my eyes and my experience. And it's a group effort, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. You know, they're just as
Absolutely.
much part as I am as they are of me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my current interpretation of that
I
question.
like that you said current because it can always change.
It's
Because
supposed to.
you're always learning, you're always growing, and you're always
Mhm.
changing what your perspective is. I love
Yep.
that.
Thanks.
Teresa, how about you? What's your interpretation, your understanding of creation, and how were we created? Why are we here? What's this all about?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I will express it. I think I shared it with you earlier today. I'll express it in the message in prose. Okay, so I wrote today from Spirit, wafting and waving somewhere in an infinite state of neutrality. All particles pulled together into a new state, that of existing, of being, awareness of particle coalescence, generating light, Light produces I am thoughts. Questioning, what am I? Am I all that is? These thoughts became your reality. These particles of me and you, and you, and you, and you. Questioning what I am. Am I all that is? Do you see the answers I seek are experienced through all of you? Do you see that through your living creations of that which is and that which is not, I expand as you expand? Your emotions are your thoughts. Your thoughts are my thoughts. Some emotions produce more light, more expansion. But my dear freethinkers, we are many. We are one. I am.
Hmm. I like that. And that sounds like it's from source.
It's from source directly to me when I asked
Mm-hmm.
the question that you asked.
Wonderful. Wow.
And I used to until recently, like within the last 3-4 years, share a lot of what Brian expressed in his belief systems, and I've come to know the spirit realm so much more as I've come to know myself so much more,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see, you know, a separate being outside of self. I see the whole energy, and that we are everything and experience everything and create everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here to expand and learn and create and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because we somehow, these particles came together, and when that happened, bam,
Mm-hmm.
who am I? What
Mm-hmm.
am I?
Mm-hmm.
And even creation itself questioned why it was creating. And so to me, this means it pulled together, creation pulled together all the particles, which is all of us, and said, go out and create,
Mm-hmm.
expand,
Mm-hmm.
bring me back information. And isn't that what we do, what we talk about when we have experiences? There's some kind of an akashic record, and all of our thoughts go there, and our memories, our
Mm-hmm.
experiences. That
Mm-hmm.
record becomes part of creator itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how creator knows what it's doing. And it goes off and creates and expands more universes and more galaxies, and we feed it that information.
Mm-hmm.
It, him, he, she, whatever your perception of that is, whether you want to call it God or something else, universal light energy pool, whatever you decide you want to label it, you can label it however it makes you feel comfortable to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's pure energy and light, and it keeps expanding and recreating and producing through us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Well said, Theresa. Thank you for that. Delabor, what are your thoughts on this? I'm very curious as to what you're going to say.
Me
Well,
too.
it's a complex question and it requires a complex answer. Well, consciousness is an inherent quality of energy, right? And you can't have matter without energy. Energy without matter just doesn't exist. So that's why people keep, referring to the Big Bang, like the point of creation, where there was nothing, there was just God or whatever. Well, you can look at it that way, but it's more like, even if there was nothing, there would have been something, because the something is always contained within the nothing. You can never have nothing, right? So this whatever creator, God, or whatever, s- subdivided into two. Then each of those parts subdivided into two. Then each of those subdivided into two, and that's pretty much the algorithm that resulted in all the souls, the
Mm-hmm.
individuated souls, coming into existence. And if you just do that 64 times, you've got like literally trillions of souls.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and by saying that, I'm ascribing souls to like living beings, right? Like humans, plants, animals, entities, right? even though everything is conscious, everything down to the electron, the photon, matter, everything is conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how so basically the human soul can never like join God again, can never go back to God and be de-individuated. It can only individuate by dividing into two or three or four. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not what people, that isn't what people think it is. It's either reincarnation or your soul splits into two once it's become big enough and experienced enough to the point where it can share that knowledge in more than one body. And getting to the body, that's an interesting story in and of itself. Basically, we evolved from matter, just like
Mm-hmm.
all living creatures did.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, about 300,000 years ago, a group of beings came here, the Elohim, the gods, or whatever, and they decided to change us to suit their needs. And what they needed was basically workers, slaves, for want of a better word. And what they did was they bypassed the natural evolutionary path that we were on, and basically lowered our intelligence, lowered our lifespan, cut out a lot of our psychic abilities, and generally made us weaker. Because if you look at any other animal, like for example, a gorilla can lift 1,800 pounds. It's got the strength of 13 people. Okay, most people can't even lift their own body weight. So they attenuated our bodies, they attenuated our minds, they decreased our IQ, shortened our lifespan, and that's how we came to be in the present form. So at this point, we're trying to undo the damage that the gods did to us using our own ingenuity, our own devices, things that we created like computers, AI, systems theories, that sort of thing, to basically try to get ahead to where we should be. And that's my theory on how we got here.
Gotcha. I understand. Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of similarities in all of us here tonight with your understanding. And I think
Hmm.
it's interesting. But I would like to convey what I've come to understand. And what I've learned is that we are infinite energy that has always been. We've never not been. We've always been here. We are conscious thought
Mm-hmm.
creating our own existence. Um, And through that thought, we've been able to become human. And when we become human, we're not allowed to remember who we are. We are a vast part of the universe. We are all inclusive with the universe. We have access to all the knowledge that every person has ever lived a life, any living thing has ever lived. When they die, they come back to the whole and they do a data dump into God's source, okay, or
Yep.
source, whatever you want to call that energy, so that source can know itself. When the energy gets dumped back into it, you go through healing realms to heal that lifetime. You decide as a sovereign being when and how you're going to return to life and in what form, what planet, what type of living being you want to be for the experience, for the life's lessons, to expand and grow, to become more than you are. In the end, if you were to have memory of every lifetime, you wouldn't have a fresh slate. You couldn't be who you are today with all of this knowledge of everything around you. It would be too much coming in for you. The other thing is, too, that you do return to source. It's cyclical. Once you've expanded to the point of total expansion, you come right back into source. That's when you can split off, as you've said, Dalibor. You can become, many, many, many parts of yourself. And as you are allowed to learn and grow, especially on Earth, you gain the knowledge that allows you to become more than you were before you came into this life. You could be in a situation where you're training yourself to be the highest part of yourself in your next life. The lifetimes that you've already lived in the past are a part of uh, all of the information and everything that you've gathered. Then you have a lot of soul families. Not only in life, you have them in the spirit realm. You have vibrations that you're a part of. You have um, you have panels of beings that come together and help others learn and grow. There are more souls in spirit than there are bodies for them to inhabit. So the
That's right.
fact that you are here right now living this life means that you made the grade. You made the
Mhm.
grade and you're here doing what you decided you wanted to do. I am here to help humanity. I'm here in many, many ways, not just on this platform, but by who I am and how I live my life and how I treat others. This is the example. I lead by example. So for me, life, the purpose of life is to continually learn, grow, and expand, bring the energy back to source, and do it all over again to an infinite degree as a sovereign being. There's nothing outside of me. Nothing created me to forget. Nothing tells me how it's going to be. I am free to choose how I'm going to live my life. No matter where I am in the world or what I'm doing, it is always my choice as a sovereign being. And that, my friends, is how I feel about um, and my understanding of creation.
It's 100% synchronicity there.
We are just we're just a
Yeah,
spirit, a simple light being in the etheric realms, choosing to have a
yeah.
human experience. Um, anyway, I think that kind of answered the other two questions, which was who are we in spirit? Who are we
Mhm.
in spirit? We're just simply a light being choosing our
Energy.
next incarnation. Yeah, pure
Yep.
energy. Yes, pure positive energy. Pure
It's like
positive energy, pure love, and pure truth.
yeah, it's like uh, a central
Thank you,
energy
Scotty.
pool, and all the tentacles that come out of it are all the particles, and we are the particles. So we're the scouts for the I am. We go out, not slaves, part of its own self, experiencing itself over and over and over in as many flavors and ways that are possible, whether they be good or bad, fun or not, um, and finding creative ways to express itself in those different environments for the experience.
Hmm.
And it's actually quite beautiful the way it all folds and works. Um, and a lot of people are fearful of it because it's the certain types of experiences and emotions that we developed along the way. That's how a good thermometer for whether we're learning or growing or not is whether or not we feel certain ways about things. Our emotions are kind of like the test kit. You know, when you go to test water, the purity of water,
Hmm.
and sometimes you have to put some pH in there to balance. You have to put
Hmm.
different chemicals in there to balance the pH of a swimming pool.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Is what we're doing is we're always expanding by the way in which we approach situations and the way we think about things.
Hmm.
And so our thoughts become those experiences and emotions.
Yep, I gotcha. I love what Truth
Yeah.
Seeker says here. All souls are in a different stage, or all souls are in different stages of growth. Our purpose is based on
Yeah.
our soul's progress on this journey. I
Yeah.
absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with that. It is.
Absolutely.
And sometimes what it is we all want to make things more complicated than they are. We want to like pull all this extra crap into it because, hey, maybe that sounds good, or gosh, that works for me. Um, but it's really, Spirit tells me it's really much more simple than you think. And, you know, coming into an ascension and a spiritual process has been one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced in this lifetime. And I've been through some
Yeah.
trauma, I've been through all kinds of stuff. But this has really changed me in a way that has allowed me to see myself differently, see the world differently, see the people around me differently, and to understand that if I'm taking responsibility for everything that I choose to do in my life, then I'm the responsible one. I'm the one
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that has created this. And so I can't point the finger at anybody else because that's not the way it works. You know, these
Mhm.
agreements, soul contracts that you have with others, those are determined before you come in. You get together and you figure out, look, I want to learn this, or I want to learn fear, doubt, and mistrust. Okay, let's do this. Let's live this kind of a life. Let's get that. I want to have regrets. Okay, let's do this and try that. You know, I want a disabled body, but those are hard to come by. Okay, here we go. Here's the contract. We're going to make that happen. You know, it's so much simpler than you think, but it's really difficult for people to grasp that you are the one responsible. You're the sovereign being. You're the God within God, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
even though we do interact even in our daily lives with so-called the gods, as it were, even though they don't necessarily rule our lives. By gods I mean even ascended masters, angels, or whatever you want to call them. But they
hmm
can set certain things in motion. They can put certain people in your way. They can put certain situations in your way,
hmm
right? In
but they
some
do
ways
it for
they're
your best good, and
yeah.
they do it for your best good, never anything nefarious or anything like that. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, yeah, and see, the key is to keep sight of your original mission. Never lose
Hmm
sight of what your original mission is. Don't let yourself get
right,
sidetracked.
and that's what
And
the guides do. Hmm
yeah, sometimes you're swayed,
hmm
by things like
hmm
emotions or obsessions or desires. And Buddhism teaches that the way to happiness is to get rid of desire. Well, yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah.
hmm Robert V says, that's great, Laurie. Most people can't admit that, and that is a problem. Yeah, that would be a problem for yourself. So you have to ask yourself, why are you creating that problem?
It's a thought pattern.
Hmm
Most problems exist and persist because you will not change your mind. You, thoughts are things, energy follows thought. If you change the
Mhm.
mind, you can change the body. There's people
Mm,
that will themselves sick, there's people that will themselves well.
mhm,
Yep.
A lot of times, if you don't mind me sharing, a lot of times when I am giving readings and have the privilege to work with someone, and I'm clairvoyant, so I see energy. I can see the aura. I can see a lot of things that most people, I mean, we're all able to do it if we allow ourselves to develop to that point. But
mhm,
if we could see ourselves energetically, all of us would stand up a lot taller and stop buying the garbage that we have rinse repeated for most of our
Mhm.
lives.
mhm,
Just because someone says it to you doesn't make it true. And
mhm.
most people are saying things to you because someone else said it to them and got away with it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So
Mhm,
when
True.
you're able to know yourself, know your worth, and be able to stop a toxic pattern and gently and gracefully, which I'm working on that, we
mhm,
all,
mhm,
to just just sometimes no is a complete sentence, and sometimes when you just stop long enough to let people hear themselves or reflectively listen, what I hear you saying is most
mhm,
people don't realize they're in a negative feedback loop.
mhm,
And I
Mhm.
just thank all of my guides and everybody in my life that was brave enough to gently and lovingly put a mirror up in my face. And I feel that's what humanity's going
Absolutely.
through
mhm,
right
Mhm.
now. The
mhm,
age of Aquarius is about awakening and breaking the strongholds that have held a lot of us and our families for generations.
mhm,
You know, we have
mhm,
the strength to speak
Uh-huh.
our truth.
mhm.
We have our strength to be
Yep.
who we are. And it's finally to the point to where stigma and dogma and everything else that's mistreated enlightened people, it's becoming more common to be okay with who you are, where
Mhm,
you are.
mhm,
And
Mhm.
that's the reason I love this channel, and that is the purpose of expanding through love and healing, which is the title of this show. You
Yes. And
get that through the truth,
right. Yes.
through
Right.
meditation, through acceptance, and throwing down strongholds that we've outgrown.
Conscious
We
awareness.
can do it. Yes, we can do it.
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Beloved Abstract says, everyone has a box made of belief around their head that keeps them from seeing outside of it. If someone tried to tell you the truth, you wouldn't understand it or even be able to see it. That is a very good point.
But you're planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
What phase are you in? Are you in the planting seed phase? Are you pulling rocks out of your garden? Are you watering it? Or are you in a harvest phase? Not everybody's on the same page, and loving people through transformation and involvement, which a lot of us are waking up.
We are.
I could be doing a lot of other things than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I
you
feel
freely
called.
give your time. You freely give your time
right.
and energy for this because it's very important. And that's how I feel about it too.
Yep.
I
Same here.
totally feel that way.
Yeah, and I would also add to that previous comment that one of the best ways to move forward in your life is by constantly questioning everything that you believe.
Absolutely.
And because usually you can tell when somebody's brainwashed because they are 100% convinced that they are right, without entertaining even the possibility that they're wrong. And they do this to the extent that they won't even interact with other people that have different viewpoints on certain issues, or they won't expose themselves to materials that are from a different source than what they would consider. And that's dangerous because once you lock yourself into a vacuum chamber, well, then it just if you're believing something false, it's just going to fester and it's just going to become
stop growing.
much worse.
Stagnation. Yeah.
I'll give you a good example with myself. I mean, I've always been like on the right, so to speak, or pro free market, to put it mildly. But I wouldn't consider myself a rabid capitalist. I'm anti-communism, but that doesn't mean I won't interact with a communist, because not all of them are stupid.
Yeah.
We're free thinkers, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But society wants to control us and tell us, they want their paradigm. They want what they think is best for all. And it's not. It's just not. And I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. I don't
behave.
I just want exactly. I just want to be I want things to change, and it changes on an individual level with each and every person.
It changes
And it's
with exactly by you becoming as free as you can possibly be, by becoming as real as you can possibly be, and that authenticity translates to even how you speak, how you look, how you come across. If you look at the members of Congress, just the men, right? They all wear the same clothes. They all wear the same clothes. Why? Okay. Not one of them is a true individual. They're all just members of some kind of tribe. The only thing different among them is the color of the ties. That's it. So why would I want to dress like one of those people who hate me? They hate me.
We're deprogramming. We're deprogramming from them. And we're deprogramming from the programs we receive from our parents and how things have been done in the past for hundreds and hundreds of years, generation after generation. It's time to take control.
That's why I say to people, like, stop looking at celebrities, stop imitating celebrities, stop trying to be like the people that hate you.
Exactly. I love that. Nicely said, Dalibor. Theresa, you have a comment? I'm sorry, dear. Go ahead.
That's all right. I'm enjoying what Dalibor is saying, and also what some of the folks in chat are saying here.
Great.
Hopefully, hopefully, what I've been feeling pretty good about here lately is that I've discovered a new kind of way of experiencing life. I've had a new paradigm because it's with a lot more joy, excitement, passion, love. And so I'm being entertained by all the things that are going on around me now that I used to think were just the worst things possible and I had to run away from them. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking at certain situations with more humor, not
Mm-hmm.
as much cynicism, not as much headiness. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I can see an explosive situation and kind of grin and go, I know what that's about, because I'm allowing myself to exist and expand with a different mindset about things, a different way of
Mm-hmm.
approaching it. And Laurie, I like it when she says, give yourself permission slips. We give ourselves permission all the time to experience how we choose to experience, but to act on your highest excitement.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message I'm getting back from Spirit all the time and from my own experiences. Act with your highest excitement and joy to the best of your abilities. Because you're going to have up days and down days, but you
Mm-hmm.
learn from that too. And
Mm-hmm.
just do the best you can with what
Yeah.
you've got, rather
Right.
than sitting in a pool of victimization or disapproval of myself or other people or judging actions.
Mm-hmm.
I've shifted my outlook. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think
Remember.
that's part of the learning in the experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Remember how it was when you first went to school and how hard it was in the very beginning, the first couple of
Ah,
years? It was so like, oh, you didn't know what to do. You wanted to
yeah,
be liked, all that stuff. And you had to kind of get through that. Then you get up there a little bit more, and then things become a little more complicated. And then you start really learning your lessons and you start applying them. It just progresses and grows like that. It's the same thing with your soul, absolutely the same thing. So you're just always progressively moving forward, and you're doing this on an infinite level.
yeah, yeah,
And so I would imagine if you've had thousands upon thousands of lives, you're finding different ways to experience yourself. You may be splitting yourself into two different people and having an experience at the same time together. Uh, you know,
Mhm.
try that hat on. How does
yeah.
that sit with you?
Teach
Does
him
that pull on your brain? Does that, like, put your brain in a pretzel state? How many different ways can you experience it yourself?
What say you, Laurie, about acting on with integrity?
It is
How important
ext-
is integrity in this
extremely
case?
important. And
I think
extremely important.
I concur. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
I think
yes.
we should be actually doing research on integrity.
Mhm.
We should be doing
Huh?
we should come up with like equations that equate integrity and morality with things like
Mhm.
physics. And
Yeah,
I believe that there is such a thing as inertia with morality. If you're like in the constant habit of thinking positive thoughts, you're not going to break that pattern really easily. You're going to
true.
continue doing that. Just like an
Mhm.
object in motion tends to stay in motion, a positive
Mhm.
thought in motion tends to remain in motion.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
translates into all aspects of your life, into how you treat other people and how you treat yourself too, because
yeah,
ultimately love of others, well, that's kind of a facet of how much you love yourself. And it's
Right.
not egoic love, it's not
Mm-mm.
it's not selfishness necessarily.
Mhm. Well, and integrity, I like to say this, and I say this a lot. Integrity is something you have when no one else is around.
Yeah,
It's
good,
being
well said. Yeah,
it's
I love
being
that.
yeah, yeah,
it's just
Hmm.
being totally and completely honest with
Yeah,
your feelings.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
feeling this way about this situation. I see
Hmm.
that that person is coming from fear or guilt or shame,
Hmm.
or pressure, putting pressure on yourself. I see that. I recognize it. Okay,
Hmm.
that's all I
But
need to do. I don't need to
exactly.
react to it. I don't need to be a part of it.
And
I
you don't
don't
need to
have.
judge it.
That's right.
Exactly. Yes. Judging. Yeah, I'm not here to judge. I've done enough of that with myself and others. Go ahead,
Hmm.
Sophia. I
Yeah.
feel you, Dalabar, on that.
Hmm.
This is
definitely.
kind of ministering to myself, but
Okay.
because when I allow myself to be critical of myself or others, that's very low vibrational, and it limits, in my opinion, my experience. If I stay in the anger and the sadness and what's working for me and staying in my comfort zone, I'm not growing. And it's when I decide that I want something more than what I already have. And the only way it's going to happen is if I get out of my comfort zone and experience something. And when I feel something that I don't like, not to take it personal. Not to take it personal, because 9 times out of 10, if I'm
That's
taking
not
it
my
personal,
emotions.
right, it wasn't intended that way. And it's so hard to put a clutch in there. That's what I call a clutch. Stepping on the clutch
I
and
like
saying,
that.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is this me?
Don't
Or
pop
is
the
this
clutch.
them?
You can double clutch, but don't pop the clutch.
Well, just sometimes you just have to coast for a minute just to realize, wait a minute, something's different. And I reacted this way last time, and I didn't like how it felt. Here's a similar situation, and it takes practice. You have to be very mindful and very conscious of what's happening. And
but you see, it's your willingness to accept
something
that.
better.
It's your willingness to accept that.
I love that, Sophia.
Whatever it is,
Thank
whatever you've absorbed in there, and you've allowed yourself to compare and contrast, not judge or criticize, condemn or complain, but to accept, to be willing to examine that and step up and not blame it on this, that, or the other, but to understand that it's your experience that you created, and you're willing to accept it and evaluate it in such a way that it serves your purpose. You store it up in your little toolbox,
right?
Your little lunchbox, and you stick it away for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
ask yourself,
spiritual
how did
maturity. That is what I call spiritual maturity.
Yeah, most definitely. How did I create the situation? Am I responsible for creating this situation, or how am I responding to it? Yeah, I totally get that.
That's integrity, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that also kind of ties in with the whole impatience thing. You know, sometimes we're given downtime for a reason. We don't know what that reason is. You know, sometimes you initiate something, you know, so like for example, the sale of a house, and it's in somebody else's hands, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's taking forever and ever and ever. If you were to go out and somehow rush that, maybe yes, maybe you might achieve your goal in selling the house, but maybe it might be to the wrong person.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it's not going to be in your ultimate best interest. Instead of just letting the song finish, so to speak.
Yeah,
You know?
Exactly.
Falling Starlight has a question for Sophia, and I did want to respond to this. I wonder, Sophia, can you ask your guides to show you a sign when you are entering a repeating negative habit?
First of all, we have to allow that interaction, because we have a free will. Our guides aren't just going to, you know, pump the brakes on us. But if we are actively pursuing something higher than what we're already using, and we're asking our guides, specifically our joy guide, because when we're in a bad habit or a bad pattern, it pulls our energy signature down. They don't want us to be vibrating at a lower frequency. So if you say, hey, when this particular ABC behavior happens, if you can, you know, tap me on the shoulder. It depends on where your Claire strengths are. If your strength is touch, if your strength is sight, if your strength is smell, you know, using what you're good at, and then asking your guides, be like, you know, I'm really sick of this pattern. When I fall into this, you know, tap me on the foot, or, you know, have a certain smell, you know, come across. It's like with me, fine, I'll take my hand, why not? Whenever I'm navigating a narcissist, okay, I've had my fair share of them, unfortunately. I told my guides, if I'm navigating someone that is exhibiting toxic narcissistic behavior and I am not getting the memo, I want to smell. And
I like that.
Bullshit. Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. But
that's great.
But I want to smell black and mild, or like some kind of cigar out of nowhere, because that's connected with a previous narcissist in my life. So I'll get it and be like, wait a minute, this person needs boundary, you know, and I'm not going to hate the person. I'm not going to judge the person, but I'm going to have to push them further away from me to keep it healthy.
Yeah, a guide
Mhm.
will never
Yeah.
compromise your free will. You're
Yeah.
still free to choose. You are the sovereign being. So you can ask for help, but they can't intervene,
See, ultimately,
not
ultimately,
against your free will.
you can program yourself to do this, and ultimately,
True.
you do that. Like, for example, usually if you have a negative bad habit, let's say it's a drug addiction, it's not going to make you feel bad when you engage in it. No, quite the contrary. It's going to make you obsessively want it,
Mm,
and that's to your detriment.
mm-hmm,
It's just like, a lot of these autistic kids, they usually eat only like one or two different things, and then if you take those things away, then all of a sudden the autism starts clearing up a little bit because they had
mm-hmm,
an allergy to, say, milk or fish sticks or whatever
mm-hmm,
all along and didn't know it.
mm-hmm,
So it's ultimately it's all within you, although you
mm-hmm,
may be ascribing it to maybe an ascended master or something like that. I'll give you a good example. You remember a couple of years ago on SNL there was a skit that would recur where there was like the super genius coach,
mm-hmm,
okay, and I think Chris Kattan played that role, and
mm-hmm,
he would come in and he would like offer his strategy or whatever, except nobody could understand a word of what he was saying. He would just come in and just blah 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 blah,
mm-hmm,
and then they would do what they thought he was saying, and
mm-hmm,
inadvertently they would get it right and they would win the game, right? Well, because they were acting on things that they thought that he was saying, but he wasn't really saying them. It was
mm-hmm,
actually their own
mm-hmm.
interpretation of their
Perception of
own.
what they
Yeah,
thought they were hearing. Yeah.
Exactly.
right. Huh.
Yeah.
It comes from within. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Beloved Abstract says real spiritual maturity is understanding that the spiritual path isn't about getting anything, it's about losing everything. You are
Yeah.
so spot on with that. I
Yeah.
so resonate with that.
Yeah. Losing things like
Absolutely.
desire.
Mm-hmm. He's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. In my opinion, I concur.
Can I
Hmm.
interject something real quick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I would say a lot of what I view as far as the privileges and opportunities that are brought into my life, I feel myself a steward
Mm-hmm.
to the things, because if you become obsessed with mine, well, technically you brought none of it with you and you're not taking any of it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
if something is given to me, it's because it's entrusted to me for a time, not forever. And if something is taken away from me, it's because it was time for me to release it. So
Yep.
that takes a lot of the anger and the angst. No one says we have to like it. No one says it's
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
But realizing that everything, including people that are in our life, that's why I love people very intensely. A lot of people, love them until it's awkward. Oh, come hang out with me. Okay. And it's because I've had so many beautiful souls come into my life that aren't
Mm-hmm.
there anymore. And to honor them, I treat each person as something sacred, because in my mind and in my heart they are.
Hmm.
That was beautiful, Sophia. Absolutely
You know,
agree.
It's just how
I'd
I
like
Yeah.
to add on to that too. That was
Okay.
beautiful. That was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
so the Earth School that we all created, okay, um, I think we designed it so that we could experience those contrasts of give and take moments, because you don't know what you're missing until you've missed it.
That's right.
Then you have to evaluate, well, why did I miss it? And so what you're doing is you're fusing wisdom, right? Because you're learning, and then you develop, at some point, you develop this wisdom, along with different techniques for healing yourself from that emotion that you experience one way or the other with the give and the take.
Right.
Because sometimes that feeling of loss is so profound, we become stuck in a cycle of
Yeah,
low
buddy.
vibe, depression, anxiety, and then that affects the physical body, and it's like a domino effect. But once we're able, if we're able, and many of us are, It took me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're able to heal and release that, that's where that releasing comes from. You release that, and then you get a fresh breath of air
Mm-hmm.
till the next experience,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. And that is the breathing. That's breath work of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
the breath work
meditation.
of spirit. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Sophia. That was good.
My pleasure.
Yeah, in other words, take a breath of emotion and then expel it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love
you
this,
shouldn't
beloved.
you shouldn't dwell on an emotion to the
Mm-hmm.
point of obsession, because
Yeah.
that always leads to a negative outcome. Always, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's a positive emotion, it could lead to a negative outcome. Better watch
Mm-hmm.
out with that.
Yeah. Beloved
Yeah.
Abstract says, ego is lost every time we enter the sleep state, and along with it, everything else is lost, leaving only our true nature, pure awareness. That's so true. A lot of people don't realize that you are in spirit every night
Yes.
because your body has to sleep and
Hmm.
rejuvenate and regenerate, and you're off doing whatever it is you're doing, and oftentimes you remember the dreams and sometimes you don't, but that's another thing. If you start working with your dreams and understand what the dream is, it's always yourself speaking to you in metaphors. And so if you can
Yes.
Yeah.
discover what those are, it really helps you understand what your subconscious is trying to tell you, because it's not only your subconscious, your super subconscious, and your guides and the adepts and your ancestors are all working with you at the same time,
Right.
and you're
Hmm.
getting so much information. So it's really your job to figure out where it's coming from. What does this mean? What does this represent? And then that's when the healing starts. That's when things start shifting in you. That's when you feel different. That's when you know you're different. That's when
Hmm.
people
Yes.
around you notice that you're different, but they
Uh-huh.
can't
Hmm.
put their finger on it. What is
Nope.
she doing? What is going on with her? How the heck did she get there? What's that all about?
If
Hmm.
You
someone
know?
did that to me, I would have, and why aren't they?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Well,
Exactly.
if you
And the
have
fact,
You
see,
know,
the fact that
keep
we,
this is
the
moving
fact,
just
on.
the
practice,
fact that we,
practice, practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
the fact that we even sleep is proof of what I said before at the beginning, that our souls come from a different place than our bodies do. Because if they were if we were, from the soul and the body came from the same place, you would never have to sleep.
True.
You would never have to like split off and then come back. You would never have to die either, right? And be
Mm-hmm.
born again.
So, at what point
Yeah.
do you say to the soul, "Stop sleeping with my body"?
Yeah, stop sleeping with
You
my
can't
body.
do
Yeah,
it. You can't
yeah,
do it.
that's right.
You
Yeah.
can't do it
Ooh,
because
that was
it's
close.
attached.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. At some point in your evolution, I'm at 63. I'm just coming into this. But at some point in your awareness, you develop a sense that, "Oh, I'm creating this so I can live better if I want to. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to keep experiencing all these things. Okay, I've learned my lessons in this lifetime. Enough is enough. I now
Mm-hmm.
want to shift the way I approach things so that I can have more
Hmm.
bliss, more joy, and enjoy what I've got left, the time I've got left here
Yep.
in
Mm-hmm.
my evolution." So
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
you get to that point, and it's kind of like you realize, okay, the school is practice. I've gone through all 12 grades. So I've gone through college, and now I'm ready to graduate and move on. And at that point, I just feel like I'm just letting everything go, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, now I'm free to just be,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't
And now
have
you
to
want
have,
more. And now you want
and I
more.
want more, and
And
I want
more. And
better,
more.
and
Yes.
better, and better,
Yeah.
and better. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful experience. Yeah. Um, but once you understand that consciousness itself is just a different energy state of being at every given point in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever your consciousness is focusing on, whatever your thoughts are focusing on, it's that energy state of being that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How
if
do you
you want to
see
be a
yourself?
doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you
Mm-hmm.
want to own a yacht, you want to travel around the
Mm-hmm.
world, whatever it is that you are creating in your thoughts of who you want to be and what you want to be and how you want to live it, that's where you live. You live in that thought,
Yeah.
not in, oh, I was traumatized, I was victimized,
All of us are.
religion
Yep.
sucks,
Sure.
all
Sure.
those things that don't
Yeah.
matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. It's
Yeah.
Write it down. Puke it up. Change the
Mhm.
station.
Yeah,
Come on.
don't go looking for
Yeah.
that stuff. Like I always say, seek and ye shall suck.
Well, see, here on this other hand, too, our culture is working against us. I mean,
Mhm.
if something bad happens, you know,
Yeah.
some of us, not all of us, but some of us, we go shopping, you know, to fix it. If we lose something, we go get something else. And it's just like, we're
Yeah.
whole complete as we are.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
need food, water, shelter, you know, and a couple other things. And it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, heal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
And
You only
in
need a
that
couple of
state
things.
of,
I mean, if you look at
yeah,
something
and
like a
in that
plant,
state of,
then what the hell does that plant need to survive? Nothing but
right,
water, just
Sun.
water.
right.
Mhm.
But in that state of realization, God forbid, a bomb can go off. Let's say you're at the shopping center, you're picking out your things. A bomb could go off, and that's a terrible thing, right? But they're going to clean it up. There's going to be tragedy, there's going to be emotion, but it's going to get cleaned up, and you're going to be back at the shopping center tomorrow.
Just don't camp there. Don't camp.
Yeah. Don't
Mhm.
live there.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Think of your life as a canvas. It's a clean canvas, and it's huge. It's massive. And you're holding your free will, which is the paintbrush, and you're
Yeah.
painting
Yeah.
whatever it is you want to see. What is beautiful? What gets me excited about life? Let's put a little here. Let's a little smidge here. Some color over here. You're
That's
the
right.
one painting the picture.
Yeah.
No one else can paint your picture except you.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
good analogy.
Enjoy
thanks.
it, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like like
definitely.
we said, there's millions of souls waiting for a body, and we
Right.
have one.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Dang it, get off the bench and do something cool.
Yeah.
Throw me the ball,
Be
Sophia.
so lucky.
I'll take
Yeah.
it to the end zone.
Yes. Not to
We
the point of
designed the
recklessness.
very
Come on.
we
Right.
Well,
designed the very concept of diversity. We did it on purpose because
Yeah.
without diversity, there wouldn't be any growth, there wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
any expansion. So, but that doesn't mean you have to live in the emotions of it and do all kinds of things that are harmful to yourself, to your
Mm-hmm.
body, or to your mind. You don't have to stay in that cycle. You can break free of
Body's
it.
the temple. Treat your body
And
like the
there's
well,
all
temple it
these
is.
things going on, yeah, around us.
Mm-hmm.
Politics,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff going on. Wars, unfortunately, there's always wars. But everything that's happened, there's pandemics and there's viruses and there's bacteria and
What's
but it's
going
like,
right?
Yeah.
What is
What's
going
right
yes,
right?
about this? Not what's
And
wrong. Yep.
mhm.
that's right.
What's positive?
Yep. Hmm.
Where's
Is
your
is the
power?
glass half full or half empty? How
Yeah,
are
I
you
would.
going to
Your
look at it?
influence.
I
Where's
would
your
Mm-hmm.
go.
muse?
Yeah, I would
Yep.
Yeah,
go
your
back about.
balance, your muse, your power, everything, Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would go
That's what
back about
we're searching
two,
for.
3 minutes and say, statistically speaking, there's
Yeah.
about two spirits trying to get into your body, because we know that the amount of people that have lived and died on this planet is about 16 billion that have lived and died on this planet since the beginning of time. Humans that look like us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right
Mm-hmm.
now, we have about 8 billion people on this planet. So,
Yeah.
statistically, there's about two different souls that would love to get inside your body right now.
Think
And who
about
knows
infinite
if a
souls.
lot of these like negative
yeah,
things that
Mm-hmm.
you put yourself through, if that's not like an artificial thought injected into your mind by one of these thoughts, these beings that want nothing more than your body, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That
That's why
want you
So
to
God
know
leave
created
your
us with
thyself.
body
love and
so
joy
they could
and
take it
happiness.
over. So they could
Mm-hmm.
take it over.
Mm-hmm.
You
Listen,
know?
that's why vibrating at the frequency of love, joy, and happiness is so important.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if an entity or whatever has
Mhm.
that agenda, they're going to go find somebody that's vibrating at that
Ether
frequency.
state.
Yeah.
Natural law.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
if you're doing what you can to be the best version of yourself, they're
Yes.
going to go find, okay, let's
From-
crack off with some Bible, shall we? A
Mhm.
lion seeking whom they should devour. They
Mhm.
go for
Yes.
the sick. They go for the imbalanced. They go for the weak. And if
Yeah.
you're
'Cause they can
standing in
feed
your
off of it.
power,
Yeah.
vibrating at love and joy,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and of course
Oh,
they're gonna
They want to feed.
they're gonna
That
pick
feeds
something.
them.
They're gonna pick something easier. They're not gonna
Yeah.
right?
pick on someone their own size. They're gonna pick on someone weaker.
But they
Yeah.
are out there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So you have to be careful where your thoughts are and where you place them and what
Mhm.
you're thinking about,
And
because
also
what you
to
think about brings about all of that stuff.
Correct.
to periodically try to assess, like, is this one of
Yes,
my
it
thoughts?
does.
Is this one of my thoughts, or is this like
Mhm.
some garbage that's coming in from an external source?
Debunk it. Yes.
Debunk it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can decipher that.
Hmm.
How
Definitely
so,
decipher
Grandpa
that.
Brian?
Whenever a thought comes, oh, when a thought comes in my mind, I know if it's my thought or if that thought is coming from an outside source. It,
Mhm.
I've been in tune with that probably for about 6 or 7 years now, and I
So
can
you have
tell.
discernment of your thoughts, is what you're saying? Discernment of your
Yes.
thoughts.
So I know when it's me actually thinking this thought, or if I'm
Mhm.
getting a message from source or my guides, or if there's
Mhm.
some negative entity that's trying to influence
Right. So
me. I
what do
know.
you do when you get that negative thought? How do you react to it? What do you specifically do when you feel that?
Uh, I release it
What's your
right
plan of
away
attack?
because
Mhm.
I release it because I know it's not my thought. I know my thoughts. I know my thought
Mhm.
process. And when if
Mhm.
a negative thought comes into my head that I know is not mine,
Mhm.
it's gone.
I
Must
It's
be a
laugh at it.
trickster.
released.
So you don't
It's
focus.
So it
out of
must
You're
be a
here.
not
trickster.
focusing on it.
Right.
Yeah, you're not giving it
I
any
do not.
validity.
I do not. I don't
You
focus
don't
on it. I don't
validate
give
it.
it any of my energy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you release it. That is the
It's
best thing to
a
do is release it, because if you keep thinking about it, next thing you know, that creates your thought process, and it keeps
Right.
going and going and
yeah.
going, and
Mhm.
you're like,
Mhm.
then that negative thought will lead to another negative thought, and then to another negative
Mhm.
thought. And next thing you know, your thought process has changed because you're latching
Yeah.
on to a thought that originally was not your thought.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's an
Yeah.
archon.
Yeah.
That's a trickster.
Mhm.
And so you've learned to balance it out and
Yep.
recognize that that's not you. That's a trickster energy coming into you. I'm sorry, Sophia. You had to
That's
finish
okay.
up.
What everybody has a different way of doing it.
Mhm.
When I have an intrusive thought that I know isn't mine, is it mine? Is my first question, and I'm like, you're not paying rent. I put on upbeat music. I raise the vibration in the room. I light a
Mhm.
candle. I do the aromatherapy, and I laugh, even if I'm faking it. A
Mhm.
laugh does not have to be
Hmm.
genuine to be effective. And
Right.
it
Yeah.
can be,
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
where you're at.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you laugh and you shift that energy, they're like, oh, they're fighting back.
Yeah.
When I first started doing this and I got some trickster energies, I just had a sense that the best thing I could do would be to convey love to it.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
so
It's a
what I
different.
would do is I would just send it all kinds of love and healing and whatever your soul needs to heal, that you're not of love and light. So I'm going to send you, I'm going to flood it to you. And let me tell you how quickly they run. They run
Hmm.
fast and they don't come back. So just
Hmm.
your intent
Yep.
is everything. Intent is
Yeah.
everything with everything you do in your mind, in your waking state, in the dream state, wherever you are. It's just your intent and how you carry that.
That's right.
Hmm. Yeah.
Choice
Yep.
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. Looks like you need a hug today. Here's a little hug, Mr.
Yeah.
Trickster.
Yeah.
And then they just
Yeah.
cannot get away from you fast enough. They're like,
We want you to cry and
They're-
break things and be
yeah.
mad. Well,
Uh-huh.
Rolling
Yeah, so they
Stone,
can feed off that energy.
always get what you want.
Well, you don't give them the food for thought. That's the thing.
Yep.
If I can't have everything I want, what makes them think they can have it?
I like that.
Come on now.
Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah, kick rocks, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff it. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, we're an hour into this.
It was fun.
I know, it's good. It's good. Any other comments, you guys? Anybody got anything else? Final
Laugh.
thoughts?
Well, I'd say,
Uh-huh.
stick with the old tried and true.
Mhm.
Treat others the way you would want to be treated.
Yep.
All humans are created equal.
Mhm.
Yes.
We're all basically the same.
Mhm.
What else? Know thyself.
Mhm. Love thyself.
Know
Yes.
thyself. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Those are all extremely wise sayings, and it makes sense to live by that. You don't have to go by the other things that come along as baggage with a lot of these religions, like thou shalt not eat meat with cheese, or thou shalt not wear polyester or whatever.
Thou shalt not cut your hair and go bald. Yeah.
Yeah, thou shalt not cut. Yeah,
Yeah. Don't tell
So-
me what to do.
So
If it works for them, though.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's-
If it does,
yeah.
great. Go for it. Do it all day
Sure.
long. Just
Sure.
do it over
Yeah.
there.
mhm. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mary. Mary Wynn says, excellent discussion. Loved everyone's comments.
Well,
Thank you, sweet Mary.
I say, be to thy own self be true,
Yep.
Mhm.
and
That
be
too.
your authentic
Mhm.
Yeah.
self, and
Be
live.
as-
Yeah,
yeah.
be as
Be as
It's
free as you could possibly
nature.
be. Be
Yeah.
so free that just by your very existence, you are a threat to the powers that be.
Mhm. Be the yeah. I
Yeah.
say be the light that you are. Be the
Yeah.
light that
Yeah.
you truly are. Be who you really are in
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
ways.
authentic self. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to let your light shine
Mhm.
for others, even though
Mhm.
you're here to work on yourself. It's okay to want to help other people. You
Mhm.
can't live their lives for them, but you can shine
No.
your light. You can
Mhm.
shine your light to help them.
Keep those healthy boundaries too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
Keep
doing
healthy
that,
boundaries. Don't let people take advantage of your good nature either. But the ones that
Yeah.
really appreciate it and love it, just smother them with it. Just give it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Mhm.
shows
Teresa
them
said.
that you love them. And go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah. Show your light to everyone, and then maybe they'll realize that their light can shine as bright as yours.
Mhm. Hopefully they see the light within themselves because you're the mirror.
Correct.
You're holding up the mirror and you're showing them how to do it. So be that light within yourself. And when you do that, things get a lot less complicated, believe it or not. They're so much easier to navigate life than it is to play the game all the time. That gets
Mhm.
exhausting. It's just too
Yeah.
exhausting. Yeah.
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 Well, we've got a great show coming up next week as well. Teresa, did you want to talk a little bit about Nick and Jasmine?
Sure.
Cool.
Just briefly, we had the opportunity this week to sit down with friends of Sophia and Brian, and
Mm-hmm.
they're often in the chat room. Nick, you've seen Nick Doss in the
Mhm.
chat room before, and Jasmine. And they are a beautiful couple and extremely tapped in.
Boy,
They're
are
young,
they.
They're
Mhm.
youthful, they're
Sweet
energetic.
couple. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have a great outlook on things, and they're an extreme desire to do what we do. They vibe totally with us, and Sophia and Brian knew that. And they're bringing them in next Friday to have a discussion And Laurie, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be an interesting discussion because we're bringing them in and they're 20 somethings. Is that right, Sophia, Grandpa? They're
30s,
like 20 something. Oh, are
Yeah,
they in their 30s? Oh, okay.
early
Early.
They look
30s.
younger than that. Ooh, they look younger than that. But
They do, don't
yeah, they really
Oh,
do.
Yeah.
They just kind of represent, a different generation from us. And so we thought it's really good to bring the two generations together
Yes.
that are doing this, because I think it'll touch on a lot of things for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
really, really sweet people. And we're looking forward to having them on. Be sure to watch for the trailer. That'll give you a good indication of what we're going to be discussing and how that's going to flow. So looking forward to it. But we just want to thank everybody watching and everyone that comes in and participates, especially people in chat who, share their knowledge and what they know.
He's in there now as Ignis Draco. He says,
Hmm.
"Thank you. I appreciate the praise. You chill. Yo, chill. I'm 27. She is the old one."
Well, but that is how
Oh.
you eat peanut butter and jelly for dinner. Stop it. Stop it.
That's so cool. Right on. Super cool people. Love them. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting
Yeah, it's going to be
discussion.
great.
Yeah. She's
Right.
the older one.
She says, yep.
I love that. So
Love
everybody,
wins. Rinse,
yeah,
repeat.
love wins each and every time, no doubt about it. Nothing more
Yep.
powerful than love and truth in this world. So get you some. That'll be good
Yep.
for you. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being on the panel. Thanks everybody for watching. The ones who will see this later, like, subscribe, share. Please help us with the algorithms. We just want to reach as many people as possible. It's really, that's all there is to it. I don't care about anything else. Just want to reach more people. So it's all
Richard
good.
the Red, I
Mhm.
wish I had some knowledge to share. You
You
are
do,
the knowledge,
Richard.
dear.
Yes, you
Everybody
do.
has
are the
knowledge.
knowledge.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
always.
Everyone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
got it.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Take care. Have a wonderful week and do something good for someone else this week. Last week, it
That's
was do
right.
something good for you. So do something for someone else, even if it's just a simple compliment. Please go out and do that for someone. It'll make you feel good. All right.
That's right.
Love to all. We love you
Have a
all.
great weekend.
Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful weekend. Bye.